Association, Vice Chancellor, Professor Chancellor designated, what's the title?
It's designated until the installation.
Until, yes. Chairperson of the Walter Sisulu University Council, Professor Lukai Toby, who will be speaking to you online, leadership of South, leadership of the your collective, Dr. Natasha is president, your executive that has been elected. It's a privilege for me to be here, I think, on what is a very important gathering which brings together convocants, alumni, graduates from our universities across the country. And to also congratulate your newly elected leadership and congratulate yourself for this historic moment for the establishment of this association. And we really wish you all the best and that we will continue to engage with your leadership in the course of the transformation of our higher education system. Convocations occupy a unique and enduring place in the life of a university. Universities are institutions that span generations. Students arrive, study, and graduate. Leadership changes, governments changes, but convocations remain as the living memory of the institution. And so in that sense, convocants are not simply graduates who have completed their studies. They are custodians of the institutional story as they embody traditions, values, and intellectual legacy of the university that produced them. It was quite exciting to be listening to one of your program director was one of the first students of the Sol Plaatje University, and the energy and dedication that he has put into ensuring that we put the name of the university up there. And I hope that those stories will be told around what happened, I think it was 11 years ago, when this university was established. Across the world, alumni bodies play a powerful role in strengthening universities. They are ambassadors of their institutions. They mobilize donor funding and philanthropic support. They connect universities to industry and to society. They provide expertise and mentorship to students and graduates. They also strengthen governance by contributing experience and institutional memory. So I fully agree with you. You are not old SRCs. You are as important as SRCs, but play a different role in that regard. In many of the world's leading universities, alumni networks help sustain research, they fund scholarships, support innovation, and help graduates enter the world of work. And so in essence, they give back to the institutions that shaped them. This is the model that we must increasingly emulate. The essence of convocation must be contribution, not personal benefit. Convocation should not be seen as a structure through which individuals seek advantage or influence within institutional politics. Rather, it should be a platform through which graduates contribute to strengthening the institution that gave them that opportunity. Universities exist as spaces of knowledge, intellectual development, and social transformation. When graduates organize themselves through convocations, they should do so with a clear purpose: to strengthen their institutions, to support students, and also to advance the intellectual mission of the university. However, we must also speak honestly about a challenge. In some instances, convocations have unfortunately been associated with tensions within institutional governance. There are occasions where many alumni structures have been perceived as sources of division, conflicts, or instability within universities. This is not the role convocations were meant or are meant to play. And I believe that this association, through exchange of best practices, will be able to deal with that perception. Universities require stable and ethical governance environment. Their purpose is to cultivate knowledge, research, innovation, and learning. And so alumni structures should strengthen that mission rather than be seen to undermine it. And many of you here were once student leaders in your institutions, played an important role in shaping campus life and the intellectual culture of your universities. Your responsibilities does not end with graduation. And I think for you to be here shows that you want to continue with that responsibility. And so your new role is to carry forward that legacy, to ensure that our institutions remain strong for future generations, to also help adapt to new realities, to become the source of intellect and hope that demonstrate that these institutions have produced individuals worthy of representing their legacy. And I want to repeat that. And I had some of you speaking with pride. I'm a graduate of MUSU, I'm associated with MUSU, Sol Plaki, and so on and so forth. And that's important because you have to demonstrate that these institutions have produced individuals worthy of representing their legacy. This discussion is particularly important at this moment in the life of our post-school education and training system. As government, we currently engaged in the process of re-engineering the PSET system, examining its size, shape, and future direction. We're probing its potential and putting in place plans to ensure that our institutions are capable of responding to the needs of our country. South Africa faces major challenges: unemployment, inequality, technological disruption, and rapid global economic change. Our universities must be capable to respond to these realities. They must produce graduates who can thrive in a changing world. They must generate research that addresses our developmental challenges. They must also strengthen innovation and entrepreneurship. This year also marks 30 years, nearly 30 years, since the adoption of the Higher Education Act, and we're working intensively to finalize amendment to this legislation so that it remains responsive to new realities. This moment also therefore provides an opportunity for a policy reset. We must strengthen governance and accountability. We must safeguard institutional autonomy while ensuring public trust. But we must also confront the new realities of the digital age, technological transformation, and shifting global dynamics. Our higher education system must remain stable, it must be responsive, but it must also be forward-looking. In this process, the voices of graduates and alumni are critical, and I welcome Dr. Mantachi Okoi, that your role will not just be about how you associate, but it will also be about being activists in the cause of transformation of our higher education sector. You occupy leadership positions across society, in government, in industry, in academia, civil society, and the professions. Your experience and insight can help shape the future of the higher education system. We need you to raise your hands with solutions. We need your ideas about governance, about funding, innovation, and graduate employability. We need your involvement in mentorship programs, in industry partnerships, but also in community engagements. Your institutions should be able to call upon you as reservoirs of expertise and leadership. But your responsibility also extends beyond your institutions. Graduates of universities also have a responsibility to contribute to building of a democratic society. You must help strengthen the values that sustain our constitutional democracy. You must participate in public life. You must contribute to intellectual leadership and help deepen democratic debate. Many of the national debates taking place in our country today require deeper intellectual engagement and rigorous thought. Many of the universities produce graduates capable of contributing to this debate. The people sitting in this room represent an immense reservoir of knowledge and experience, and therefore do not censure yourselves. The question therefore becomes, where are you now? Where are the graduates of our universities in the great debates of our time? Where are they in strengthening institutions, in mentoring students, and also in shaping national conversations? And perhaps more importantly, how can you contribute more actively to the success of your institutions and the future of our country? Convocations must become spaces of intellectual energy. They must become platforms for mentorship, philanthropy, thought leadership, but also institutional support. And as the Italian thinker Antonio Gramsci once reminded us, probably a little less of a dialectic than yourself, Dr. Mantashe, that we must combine pessimism of the intellect and optimism of the will. In other words, we must analyze the reality honestly and critically, but we must never lose sight of the determination to improve it. That spirit should guide the role of graduates and convocants in our universities and also in our society. If convocations embrace this responsibility, this will become one of the greatest strengths of our higher education system. You will strengthen universities, you will support students, and you will help shape the intellectual life of our democracy. And in doing so, you will demonstrate that graduates produced by our universities remain committed to the institutions that shape them and to the country whose future they must help build. I wish you all the best for the rest of your conference, and also all the best for the leadership that you've elected, and those who could not make it in the University of Pretoria, Stellenbosch, and various other universities, that they will join into this association and ensure that it becomes the collective voice of all the convocants of our universities in the country. Vice Chancellor, I know I'm wearing the cap of your neighbor. They're still your neighbor nonetheless, and I hope that we will correct that. But it is I also want to thank you and the university for having opened up your doors to the convocants as this young university, but also as a demonstration of the progress that we've made as a country. I don't think that we should miss that opportunity. But here, it was just open land. It was just barren land. There was nothing. In fact, I think the program director was saying there was just a street light. And he thought that he's in one fly-by-night institution. But this is one of the contributions that this democratic country has made in expanding our institutions of higher education. With those words, thank you very much for listening.